I awoke with a start, my head pounding as if hammered by the very tides of this strange environment. The first thing that swallowed my vision was the blue haze surrounding me. I was lying on a slick, circular platform that felt slightly pulsating beneath my weight. The faint hum of machinery filled my ears, but echoes of a past life crept back too, bits of conversations long forgotten, and images obscured by a fog of confusion. I was. Who am I? I whispered to the darkness, but the silence only converged back with hollow desperation. As I slowly pushed myself upright, the remains of a city began to resolve from the murk. Through the thick glass walls encompassing me, I beheld towering structures of cracked glass and rusting metal, their once brilliant colors dulled as time decay had pressed upon them. Strangely beautiful algae clung to their surfaces, glowing faintly like a constellation fallen into the ocean. I instinctively grasped my head, trying to sort through the jumbled mess of information with little success. I learned quickly that I had to get out. My breathing became rapid as I slid off the platform onto a path that looked as if it had been crocheted into the heart of a dying giant. Around me strewn remnants of a civilization, one that felt vividly colorful in its heyday, but now lay in dystopian ruin. The shops once bustling hubs, I assumed were reduced to broken shells, their neon signs cracked and partially engulfed by the ocean's hand. Get moving, I muttered to myself, urging my limbs onward despite the weight of the confusion hanging heavy on my psyche. I stepped cautiously through the wreckage, careful not to disturb anything that could awaken a dormant danger. My heart raced at the unfamiliar sounds reverberating through the tilting corridors. My gut told me I was not alone. A thought crossed my mind: where had all the people gone? As I ventured deeper into the city, I stumbled upon a metallic door, slightly ajar and casting ethereal blue light from within. Hesitant yet curious, I forced it open further, my nails scraping against the corroded surface. Behind it lay a vast atrium filled with angular parts, their glass showcases fractured, exhibiting a zoo of animals that should never exist. Blurred memories washed over me, memory or dream, I couldn't discern. Hybrid creatures, grotesque remnants of scientific experimentation, scurried about, their eyes glowing with a wildness born of unkind invention. A feral snarl echoed through the desolate atrium, pulling the remnants of my resolve taut. The walls seemed to pulse with unrestrained energy, almost alive, and I felt a sudden instinct to flee. I turned, heart pounding, and darted into the corridors, navigating the labyrinthine paths that continued to entice me deeper into the depths. Somewhere behind me, the chaos erupted, unnatural roars shattered the eerie quiet. I heard thumps of something massive barreling through the rubble, an amalgam of flesh and machine seeking to reclaim its territory. I ran, feeling my feet pound against the cold stone floor, urgency driving the adrenaline surging in my veins. The city felt alive and watching. My frantic escape led me to the remnants of what resembled a control center. Monitors, cracked screens flickering between static and distorted images, surrounded me like ghosts of a time I wished I understood. I slid against a panel, hoping to blend into the decor of the derelict city. Out of breath, I tapped the console with shaking hands. nothing. A chilling terror gripped my throat. Then, with a judicious touch, I coaxed a screen to life. A series of incomprehensible codes and commands swirled before my eyes. Buried in the code, I recognized platform details and even reference to an emergency escape pod. An escape pod. I murmured, visceral hope flickering in my chest. I needed to overload the AI managing this dying city to wrestle control back from its automated embrace. My hands moved with intention as I began to input commands from the fragments I deciphered. Just as numerical chaos enveloped me, a horrifying crash reverberated outside. One of the hybrid creatures had found me, its hulking form silhouetted against the dim light of the corridor. My heart thrummed as I pressed on, hoping that the AI's grinding circuits would drown out my heartbeat. I was close. "Come on!" I shouted at the screen, desperate. I pounded the interface, fingers flying. The monitor flickered ominously, and just as I thought all hope was lost, a loud alarm blared, sending vibrations through the control center. The creature outside howled with fury, reminding me another second lost was a second too long. Overloading its systems was risky, but I didn't have a choice. I pressed one last sequence, a series of commands overriding the connection to the escape pod. The screens blared to life, green lights flashing in a wild dance. My stomach lurched as beams danced between me and the creature, inching closer. Pod launching in T-10 seconds. The synthesized voice declared, echoing my thoughts. As the countdown raced with cruel precision, I hurled myself toward the exit, escaping as the door jettisoned open. I sprinted through the corridors, dodging twisted remnants of the city rooms that had once held countless souls. Now lay silent, specters hanging over my every move. The escape pod loomed ahead, a polished capsule gleaming beneath the desolation. I dotted inside, hitting the controls with urgency. The vibrant lights blinked as the walls hummed with anticipation. I strapped myself in, fighting the urge to look back. Pod initializing. Behind me, I heard the bestial growl echoing through the swelling waves of silence, its primal rage at having lost its prey. The whole city seemed to shudder in mourning as the countdown was eclipsed by my sudden determination. 5, 4, 3, 2. The walls vibrated. I was leaving this nightmarish underwater city behind, escaping into the unknown above. 1. Ignition. At that moment, the pod shot upwards, propelled by a force that felt insatiable. A velvet shield enveloped me, the city falling away like the fading grasp of forgotten memories. I couldn't be sure of what lay ahead, but as I broke the surface of the water, I drew breath this time, not as a survivor but as someone reborn into uncertainty. I had escaped the depths of Tethys, but who was I to become? I could only wonder as the dawn light washed over me.